Hey, once again. Alright, so pretty much brushing off the cobwebs, doing this again. I know when I first started doing this, I had a lot more frequency doing it, but like I said, this year's been pretty much, ass on a plate, pretty much, if you can pretty much sum it up in a single expression, because like everything got fucked up. Hell, my trip to Miami got fucked up. My, I still got things going on, like otherwise, because I'm not gonna get let everybody into my business like that. And my homie, he dealing with shit, and I got other homies dealing with shit. And like dealing with this dumbass job I got, man, it's like, that's like getting a bad birthday present over and over again. Oh, by the way, shout out to everybody that actually looked out for me on my birthday, on the day of my birthday, and a few days afterwards. And appreciate everybody giving all the love on the last post I did for my haircut, of course, and the haircut before. So I appreciate that. As you can see, the design is killer. Shout out to Julian Alexander, aka JD Master Barber on Facebook. He's on my Facebook page. You want to follow him. And if you want to figure out where you can get lined up at, if you're in the city of Raleigh and you want his address, just inbox me or whatever. But let's get into something. Man. So I think on the other video I made, I was talking about dating and whatnot, and I was talking about communication. I just wanted to touch a lot more on that because I was kind of all over the place with it. And this video probably will not be on, well, it will be on Facebook. It's just not going to be on Instagram because Instagram has the stupid ass 10-minute mark that you have to deal with. And that's the reason I had to cut those other two videos y'all saw short and put them on Instagram. Oh shit, sorry. I just ate a minute ago. But yeah, communication, yeah. Where of course a lot of us, if we're all in the dating scene, that's how a lot of us necessarily come together, because using this is what gets you usually in the game when you've been doing it for a while. You talk to a woman or a man or whatever, but if you're a guy talking to a woman, if you talk to girls here and there, excuse the yawn, I'm always tired, but yeah, if you've used this long enough, pretty much becomes second nature when you talk to a woman. And I guess basically whatever you say afterwards will either get you the number, or I guess it gets you her Instagram or social, whatever. I guess whatever is necessarily popular to get these days. Me, since I'm more of an old school kind of guy, and I remember what it was before smartphones, I always go for the number first and then worry about the social media later, because that's just how I am. Everybody else is different. But I don't know. But that kind of brings me to the point of actually the number issue. It's actually a lot harder to get now than it was, I'd say, back maybe 10, 15 years ago, back when I was like going to college and high school. I think that was like the number one thing to get back in the day. When we were all teenagers at one point. And I'm talking about Generation Y people, not Generation Z little bastards or whatever, little punk ass mugs. But no offense to them, but y'all just a different breed than we are, and we don't understand y'all. We can tell by the music y'all make, or the music that y'all are influenced. Y'all just fucking weird. But yeah, nowadays, the number, I don't know, you just gotta be like a real special kind of guy, or real alpha type of dude, or just a dude that just got a real great mouthpiece. You look good and you got a great mouthpiece. Hell, you pretty much in the game right then and there. I mean, usually, I mean, depending on what type of women you're looking at, or I'm sorry, necessarily getting at. But then, like over the years, I know for me personally, yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna front yet. I'm a big looks kind of person. I'm not even gonna even try to front on that one. Like looks are probably pretty high standard for me as far as like my criteria is concerned. But as much as I'm into looks, I'm also into what's usually up here. And through my, I guess I could say, journey of dealing with the opposite sex, usually I don't find too many who are necessarily quote unquote a dime, but I also have a lot going on up here because, like I said, we're in the age of now being, how do I say, I don't know, I guess we're pretty much like in the attention whore era, I guess. I mean, because you know, a lot of women out here doing like other shit pretty much just to get some attention and validation. I mean, i.e., OnlyFans. I mean, hell, that's pretty much the biggest validation, I guess, nucleus as far as I'm concerned. I mean, because that's all I've been seeing. I mean, because that like became really very, how do I say, I guess pushed through or became the I guess the overall theatrical display as far as like women necessarily trying to finesse dudes out of like money or whatever. I mean, because if really at the end of the day, it's kind of a finesse to a certain degree. I mean, especially if you're a certain dude who's always, I guess, thirsty or necessarily very adamant about seeking the attention of a woman, which of course then makes you beta as shit. But I mean, if you're not used to necessarily getting with women or getting a certain type of woman, then yeah, I mean, you only have certain options at your disposal. Yeah, I mean, because even with this right now, what I'm talking through, of course, on my phone, I mean, you literally have your pick of the litter of whatever kind of woman you want, just literally at the tip of your fingers, i.e. Tinder, i.e. Black, Bumble. I mean, whatever dating service or app that you use on your phone, it's pretty much accessible. And I mean, because I mean, it's rare when a dude can actually, I guess, spit game to a female that he's interested in and like instantly just hit it off. Unless you've just been that dude for years, like certain people I know. I mean, me, I'm still necessarily catching up myself. So, but I mean, I've done decently well for myself in that arena for maybe a few years. But I mean, I've necessarily been lacking in certain areas. But I mean, the only way to get better is just to improve on yourself. That's basically the thing I've been on, which is why I really haven't been adamant about like trying to find a relationship or anything like that, or trying to have kids, especially trying to have kids. But I mean, of course, that's all for personal reasons that have impacted my current situation as far as my personal life is concerned. I mean, if I can get real with y'all, I mean, basically I have to deal with like how I grew up to a certain degree. I mean, I kind of grew up with a very bad self-image of myself, and that led to things as far as like thoughts of suicide. If you remember a video I actually did a while ago, I actually professed that I was in that realm of suicide in my mind, and pretty much wanted to end my cycle of being a living human being, and necessarily not deal with the ills and the hardships of what it's like to be alive. I thought I was better off dead. But realizing what contributed to that was the fact of, well, I mean, if I can be real honest here, I mean, it's really what I guess my parents were contributing to as far as how that went. I mean, though I love my mother to death, and I really, really do. I mean, if it wasn't for her, it'd be a lot of things that I probably would be doing that probably she would approve of, and I wouldn't approve of if I knew what I was doing. But me and her relationship was very, very tumultuous at certain points, because I thought I could never be the man that she believed she could. She believed that I thought I could be, but I never thought I could be, because I don't think anything I ever did, whether I thought it was great or whatever the case may be, was good enough in her eyes. And coming to that realization at that age that I was, I mean, in my maybe like preteen, early teen years, it really affected me to the point that maybe I didn't necessarily see myself as being worth what I think I'm worth now. Because what I'm worth now, I appreciate the hell out of that guy. So like, even y'all see me right here, like if I didn't have as much appreciation as I did for myself, as of right now, you probably wouldn't even be looking at this person right here. You probably be having my face on a t-shirt right now, probably. Yeah, because the word of what my mother used to give to me, I held that to a very, very, very high degree. And because I held that to a very high degree, I always necessarily either try to somewhat live up to it or not live up to it at all. So in the form of rebellion, I necessarily always just like doing things my own way. I always have, always will, because I'm a Taurus. We're all stubborn like that. We like doing certain things a certain way. If someone else tells us to do something different, it's kind of hard for them to convince us. And all my Tauruses out there know what the fuck I'm talking about, so I'm not lying here. But yeah, I mean, I never really spoke of the reason why like suicide even came to my brain at one point, because of the fact that I really didn't want her to actually feel no responsibility of it, because of the fact of this was just something in my brain that I had to figure out and I had to mull through just to even get to the other side of that. Maybe there is something worth living for. And once you come to that conclusion, I mean, you can pretty much make anything a reality. I mean, in all honesty, like me being in this apartment, I didn't think I could even be having my own place officially and not having to worry about dealing with someone else's shit. I mean, or family or whatever the fuck in case maybe, even though I wish I was further, but that's another story. Yeah, I mean, then of course, have my own car or doing my own videos. I didn't even think this was possible. I mean, this right here, like, this is probably one of the hardest things I've actually ever had to do. As far from like seeing the other videos y'all see with me singing or whatever, because most people don't even know I sing. Because that's not a side I like to show people unless I feel comfortable with them. And like anytime I tell a person to sing, like they always want to like, oh, can you sing or whatever? Like, motherfucker, I don't feel comfortable with you. Like, why the fuck do you think I'm somebody's minstrel show? Fuck out of here. It's like, yo, you gotta relax. Like, I'm cool with singing. Like, I mean, I've been singing like every day since I was the age of 4. But at the same time, like, if I'm not comfortable with doing something, like, you need to be cool with that. Like, it's not your thing to dictate. It's mine. I mean, that's my gift, not necessarily something that I can just do on the fucking fly, like I'm a fucking dancing monkey or anything like that. Like, yeah, those days are over. But yeah, I just thought I'd necessarily give a piece of myself a little bit in this video so that you can understand me a little bit better. But if my mother is watching this, just know I'm necessarily using this, like I said before, when I first started doing these videos, I'm using this as a way to unplug myself into necessarily not going back to that state that I was once in, to where I felt the need to extinguish what I am now. So this is not no attack to her, to you, Ma, or anything like that. I'm just necessarily making myself relieved. That's basically the point of all this. Because, like I said, you had to do what you had to do. You were working 2 or 3 jobs. We were going to school. I understand why you had to do what you had to do. And so, I mean, I've already forgiven what was already happened. So, even though I haven't really gone into detail, but I know that you tried to do the best that you could with what you had, because Pops really wasn't doing what he needed to do. And that's another person I'm about to get on next. Yeah, so he might end up seeing this as well. But just know this, I love you. You know, the woman that can go above you, you already know that. And whenever you and Russ decide to ever get married, just know I'll be there front and center. And for those of you who don't know Russ is, I'll have to tell you about that man later. Or maybe not, because, like I said, I ain't got to tell you all my business. So, yeah, fuck all that. But, yeah, so the other person, of course, who helped bring me into this world, my father, that's the person that I really have to really speak on, because of the fact of him not necessarily participating like he should have. He definitely played a huge part in my upbringing, whether he knows it or not. I mean, me and him, I mean, we've hung out, of course, throughout my childhood, and I mean, and somewhat in my adulthood. So I know I've seen somewhat similarities between myself and him. I mean, we both have the same eyes and the same nose. You know, I think I actually got my mother's nose instead of his nose. So this is my mother's nose. But we definitely got the same eyes. We got the same smooth talking voice. Same smirk. Yeah, we got the same smirk. Same, like, pretty much cool demeanor and all that. But as far as all of that, that's pretty much as far as what I know about him. But as far as my father is concerned, I know he would have been a lot more essential in my younger years than probably where I'm at now. Because, I mean, say what you want. I mean, shout out to all the single parents, mother or father. It really doesn't matter. That made sure their kids were as successful as they possibly could. But I essentially am very, very how can I say this? Yeah, I succinctly would say that two-parent households are a lot more effective than one because it's especially for a boy. I mean, if you're trying to raise a man, I mean, shout out for the single mothers that do raise their sons as best they possibly can. But you and I always know, you and I both know, and everyone else in the world know, it takes a man to raise a man. That's just how essential that a man should be involved in a young boy's life, because that's what he's gonna grow up to be when he becomes of age or of adult age. Especially if he's a black man, yeah, especially a black man in America. And of course, me not having that, at least not my biological father. I mean, I had male role models, but and of course, you know, they done what they can. I mean, with what they had. I mean, if it wasn't for my grandfather, I probably would be a different individual. But as far as like what it takes to be a man, as far as like being accountable of yourself and being responsible of what is asked of you or what is within your control, yeah, I mean, I'm good on that aspect. But as far as other things concerned, I had to learn that through a lot more social environments. I would say environments around like certain guys who got those other aspects that a man needs in order to become successful, as far as like necessarily how to control your emotions and how to speak with authority and all of that joint. You know, not to necessarily be moved off center, no matter like what a person does to you. I mean, honestly, I think only maybe, if it wasn't for one person, you know, my homie actually, if it wasn't around him, I probably wouldn't learn a lot of those things. But I wish I would have learned a lot of those things from my father instead. I wish I learned about my father in general, because I mean, the fact of him not necessarily being there kind of told me that I really wasn't wanted in this world, or at least not wanted by him. And because he showed me that his involvement was only like somewhat subpar, I would say, probably even less than subpar. I don't know. I mean, a lot of brothers can really relate to this to a certain degree, because I mean, of course, my father had me in his 20s, and like, honestly, I couldn't fathom what he was thinking at the time when I was brought into the world. And he was in his early 20s or whatever. I mean, because like most guys in their early 20s ain't even thinking about having a child usually. They're thinking about literally what's the next move, or really what's the next moment, because I mean, most of us who are in our early 20s and 30s are literally thinking not even 10 steps ahead. We're thinking about the next 10 seconds ahead, I guess. So I can only imagine what could have been going through his mind at that moment. But I mean, I couldn't fathom, because he never told me what he was thinking at that time, or why he never saw himself being more involved in my life. Because, I mean, of course, my father's had 3 kids, and I'm the only son out of all of them. I mean, I'm the only boy out of all of them, really, because I have 2 other sisters. I mean, one that's older than me by 9 months, and I think one that's like 22 or about to be 23 this year, which is amazing. But yeah, but I mean, piling that on to like also not seeing myself as worth a damn, I would say. I mean, that probably became a big factor in like the depression I sometimes deal with here and there. Uh, but of course, that's why I started doing these, because these are kind of like my digital version of, I guess, therapy, if you want to say that. Because honestly, if I did have like a real deal therapist, I had to like necessarily talk to someone who can relate, I would say. Someone who's a lot more like me. That's how I would see my therapist being. Because I don't know, I've always seen myself as a real unique individual that I was pretty much impossible to copy, because I'm the only person who I know was like me, just like everyone else, as far as like individuals concerned. I mean, there's no one who's going to be like you. I mean, who's going to be more you than you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's basically the end all to all individuality, because, I mean, we all are our own version of whatever DNA is inside us. But of course, you know, we carry the DNA of our ancestors, but at the same token, we all live a journey that is different from not only the people who we're related to, but the people we see on a day-to-day basis. I mean, and you know, in this journey of life, we all are still trying to figure out the answer to that crazy question: who are we? So, and of course, you know, when it comes to finding out who you are, I mean, your parents are a big part of that. Yeah. But to my parents, like I said, this is no disrespect or anything to either one of y'all, my mother or my father. You know, like I said, at the time that I came into the world, I mean, y'all had your past in life going on in your early stages, so y'all had to do what y'all had to do, and I'm very aware of that. So y'all can only do the best thing y'all thought was right at that time. And like I said, I hold no grudges. I hold no ill will. I got love for both of y'all. I mean, y'all pretty much exhausted all, I guess, the feelings I have for both. But I'd really like to get more in touch with my father a lot more, as much as I necessarily haven't been able to do. Yeah, well, Ma, you already know. I mean, our relationship, I mean, it's as strong as it possibly can. It's possible, as strong as it is right now. I mean, you can always be stronger. We all know that. But yeah, I'm just wanting people to be aware of who they're looking at in these videos. So that's why I kind of decided to open a little bit of, I guess, what I'd call my version of Pandora's box, I guess. Yeah, because I mean, we all keep certain things to ourselves, certain things we don't even tell nobody, because certain stuff we'll just keep till the grave. But I feel like as far as our community is concerned, the black community is concerned, like this right here is pretty much like a lost concept because of the fact of, I guess, pride. I mean, plays a part in like not being, I guess, mentally free. I mean, because all of us deserve some kind of mental sort of freedom if we all want to get through this game we call life, because at the end of the day, this is a game, and we just know how to play it to the best of our abilities and to the best of our advantage. Yeah. But, sorry this video is too long, but I just decided to unplug a little bit. Hopefully it's something y'all can fuck with for a while. But otherwise, until the next video, peace.